Hello and welcome to Afternoon Tea with Karen. Today I'm going to hear from Victorian MP Gorgie Purcell on some duck shooters.
Nine News has come under fire for photoshopping an image of Animal Justice Party MP Gorgie Purcell. The news channel has since apologised and blamed the blunder on, quote, automation by Photoshop.
Oh, what's different? She's been cut in half. She's taller. See, she's taller. Yep. It's like they've moved her body up to be closer and in line with Jacinta Allen, the premiers, and made her taller. Anyway, she'll be upset because of the ban on duck shooting didn't go through. Anyway, let's hear what's wrong.
But Gorgie says that she isn't convinced by the explanation. She joins me now. Gorgie, thanks so much for your time. What do you think about this whole saga?
Thanks for having me on. Look, I think it's been a really, really good lesson for people in public life and for media outlets that we need to do more to protect women in these circumstances. I haven't been quiet since I got elected about the sexist and misogynistic rhetoric that I've received. And this is a really subtle form of it, but it's when it's happening to you, it's particularly confronting to see your own body altered on the nightly news to meet conventional beauty standards. And this is something that wouldn't happen to a male politician.
No, it certainly doesn't. I mean, if they had a midriff suit on, it would look pretty weird. But I think
then that's her body that's been altered, not the clothing, dear. Reporter on Sky, and also it's very annoying having the banner across the one we're supposed to compare. Anyway, I digress.
The point is, Gorgie, that you don't look like the others. You know, you're not a conventional suit-wearing male, and you're shaking up the establishment. Do you think people are threatened by that?
Yeah, look, I think that's a really good point, and it's something that I have been reflecting on. I think this is, whether intentional or not, there's at the very least unconscious biases at play here, because I'm not particularly offended being pictured in a crop top. I do wear crop tops. There's images of me on my social media in a crop top, but what it comes down to here is consent, and I didn't consent to having my body altered for the nightly news. And like you said, I am different to the usual politician, and I do like to promote that. And of course, Channel 9 have said this was an AI blunder. And regardless, I think that if Jacinta Allen came out of an AI edit with a crop top on, they would have picked up on it. And we need to ask why that they didn't with me.
Because you wear crop tops and you're on your social media wearing crop tops. Anyway, let's have a look a bit about that.
For the nth time, we've entered yet another legalised duck hunting season in Victoria, and that's despite decades of overwhelmingly popular calls to end the practice. But some legends don't wait for bans to take matters into their own hands. They get out there and they do what they can to stop the hunters themselves. To discuss that and to discuss what the hell duck hunting is still a thing for, I'd like to welcome Gorgie Purcell, who's a member of the Victorian Parliament for the Animal Justice Party. G'day, Gorgie. Hello and welcome.
G'day, Tom.
You know, I just want to say, mate, before we get into the duck hunting hoo-ha, you have the best social media feed of any poly I've ever seen by like a country mile. Like you seem to have a full staff of really fucking funny people, and you're always surrounded by animals, which I get it's kind of on brand for the party and all, but you're like a regular Dr. Doolittle, like in your feed. You actually kind of make it seem like being a politician is fun instead of like weird and soul destroying. What are you doing? What are you doing right that so many of them aren't? What's going on here?
Thank you. Yes, first of all, I made a really strong commitment to myself when I got elected that I was just going to be myself, because I was myself throughout my campaign, and politicians try way too fucking hard to be like polished and perfect, and they lose their authenticity and their personality, and I think that's what people want to see.
I actually remember as a child being in the city with my dad. I was like a little boy, and Dad went up to this man and he shook his hand and he said, "Thank you so much for all your work." And I was like, "Who is that?" And he said, "Oh, that's a man named Laurie Levy, and he's a hero and he saves ducks." And that was my introduction to what duck hunting was as a kid. And Laurie had been out. He was first disrupting hunts, I think, in the 1970s on the wetlands. I'm going to display some wild photos of him in some really sexy short shorts in that era, saving ducks and pissing off hunters. He's a legend, you know. But that was so long ago. I mean, how have things changed, you know, both for duck hunting and disruption since back then? I mean, that was the 70s, right?
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to say is Laurie Levy is now 81, and that man is already, I know, situated on a wetlands right now, ready for the season to begin. He will not stop fucking with these shooters until it's banned, and, you know, he is such a legend. This, I guess, fight started in the 70s, and something that I like to sort of reflect on to put it into perspective of how dedicated these people have been is I was not born then. I was nowhere near born then. I was born in 1992. Now, all these years have gone on. I'm now a member of parliament who is still working to fix this alongside these people. And it's like, it shouldn't take this long. But like you said, so much has changed in that time. In the 70s, Laurie was going out on the wetlands and there would be shooters, you know, every few meters, and hundreds of thousands of shooters out there killing these native birds every weekend, bagging out, going over their bag limits. And duck shooting was big, like it was popular then. Now we're looking at a situation where, because of his tireless campaign and all the many people that have worked beside him, it's hard to find duck shooters. It's hard to find where they're actually going. And the days of, you know, being outnumbered by shooters are long gone. There are always way more rescuers and way more people that are doing their best to end this and obstruct this. They far outweigh the shooters. And I think that goes to show how much of a powerful campaign he has run over the years. And, you know, we want that man to be able to retire, and we know he won't retire until we end this fucking thing.
Let's give Laurie Levy a fucking break. Jesus. Yeah. Now, Georgie, I saw messages a few months ago effectively saying that the Victorian government was considering a ban on duck hunting. What form is that taking, that consideration? And what the hell happened?
I guess from the political perspective, one thing that we realised working on that aspect of the campaign was we're going to have a Labor government in Victoria for the foreseeable future. And obviously, we know that no matter how progressive the crossbench is, which is, you know, it was relatively progressive. Well, the numbers were there in the last parliament. The numbers are well and truly there in this parliament. I mean, we've got a very, very socially progressive crossbench. But we knew that in order to end this, we obviously had to change Labor's position. So we worked really hard on getting the MPs, the Labor MPs in Victoria, to actually personally, publicly come out opposed to duck shooting on the record. And by the end of the last term, we had, you know, almost half of the caucus, excluding the ministry, out there on the record saying that they want duck shooting to be banned, which is pretty rare because Labor MPs are really good at towing the line, even if they might not personally agree with it, and working internally to change things. And we made it a really big political issue for them internally, and that put the pressure on. And we were hearing the same as you. We were being told this is going to happen this year. There's not going to be a season. I mean, they had the perfect fertile ground for a ban. I mean, not only were they were returned with an even bigger majority and a progressive crossbench. Like, they had absolutely nothing to worry about. But there is just this powerful small group within the cohort that we have heard that believe that this is going to affect the country support. And we absolutely reject that. Time and time again, we have shown that this is not an, you know, inner city latte sipping lefty issue. Like, people across the whole state want this. In fact, regional Victorians are often the most powerful voices because they have to live with this fucking disturbance in their backyard.
I was was waiting in the undertow, set adrift with featherweight like bows, unaware of where my heart would flow. I was waiting in the undertow. I was waiting in the undertow, set adrift with featherweight like bows, unaware of where my heart would flow. I was waiting in the undertow.
Glenn Feller, Conservation and Hunting Manager for Field and Game Australia. We all know that it's been a tough year for waterfowl hunters in Australia. We have some pretty big issues that we're facing as far as the continuation of game bird hunting in the southern states. And of course, if the southern states go, the Northern Territory is likely, like the rest of the world, to be the next domino to fall. But, you know, it's a whole lot more than that for us too, as far as the social side of things is concerned. I mean, we've got something like 15 guys up here together for this week, and boy, the social side of that and the mental health side of that for hunters is just incredible. Here we are in the Northern Territory doing a number of things. We're gathering samples for a curator of a museum. We're doing some genetics sampling that will be taken back to a couple of universities in America. Just because we're being challenged in the southern states doesn't mean that we've given up the fight. We are full steam ahead, business as usual as far as we're concerned. We all know that what's going on in the southern states and the government departments is political more so than science-based decisions. This has been going on for years. These people that come and interrupt and disrupt our hunts, they're getting more brazen, more bold.
Because you're hindering my hunt and flaring them. So, could you please leave?
Radioed ahead so that they could leave before we got here.
You're hindering my hunt. Could you please leave? You've just paddled through my decoys.
We know that the 10-metre rule is an absolute ridiculous situation. They're not connected. They don't know what's going on in the wetlands. They never get their hands dirty. They don't turn up to working bees or projects. They simply are there to interrupt what we're doing, and they've got one thing in mind only, and that is to bring an end to waterfowl hunting.
Tell them to clear off. That there was the micro penis brigade without them.
Sun's up, I've got my eye on the prize.
Duck and Quail Hunting Australia. Hopefully you can hear this with the wind, but we are the last day of the 2023 Victorian duck season. We're just about to set up for the final hunt of the season. Let's hope it's not our last hunt, but we'll get some action and some footage, and hopefully you guys can enjoy some GoPro footage from today. Cheers guys. Yeah, 8 o'clock on the dot. Alright, it's go time now.
Yeah, so they're my thoughts of the day. I thought, oh, she's going to be upset, and these guys will probably be happy. See you later. Bye.